Today I'm going to talk about giving yourself permission to be that messy, chaotic, creative force for good, or that tidy powerhouse of efficiency that you are. We are bombarded with signals that tell us to be more organized or to let go and let your creative juices flow. The contradictory nature of, everything can play havoc on your self-esteem and motivation. Is your sewing or crafty space tidy? Is it chaotic? Does it look like a caffeinated volcano has hit it in a toddler's tantrum? Spoiler alert, neither order nor chaos is inherently better than the other. And this is because we interact individually with the space around us. I'm not here to argue for one way or another, because let's be honest, our homes are probably like the tides. They ebb and flow from order to chaos and back again. Mine's usually in chaos, but yours may be a little bit different. I'm also here to talk about why we feel the way we do about being chaotic or disorganized or tidy or any of these other attributes and values that are placed on the space in which we are creative. With luck, this will help you to understand why you may beat yourself up about your messy space or obsess over controlling your chaos. And I use this video as an excuse to kick myself in the pants and get myself a little bit more organized myself so that I can work on projects to share here on this channel. I'm blessed to have a studio space that I can sew and be crafty in. Being a pack rat means occasionally I am overrun with stuff. And eventually it hits a tipping point and I just simply can't work anymore. It's just too disorganized. There's just too much stuff and I can't find that pair of scissors I know that I have, or I lose pieces of a project. So, occasionally I have to go through my space and have to reorganize it. That's when the Marie Kondo on steroids comes out. This was where I was recently, kind of at a standstill. Like I literally couldn't get into my fabric closet. Literally. It was like getting in there and yeah. It was oh my God, it was so awful. I'm going to be embarrassed to show you the footage of it here in a little bit, but I also want to show you that, we all deal with this. It's nothing to obsess over. It's just who you are as creatives. Well, I know it's how I am as a creative. Today I'm going to talk about clutter, chaos, and our wacky brains while sharing some video from cleaning up my studio. Join me on the other side. Can we talk about my fabric closet? It's about 6 feet by 10 feet, and it was as blocked up as a cheesemonger on a 3-day Limburger bender. There were plastic bins of random fabric completely blocking the way, and the fabric that was in there was disorganized. At the same time, the space wasn't really being used in an efficient manner. Going in and out of that place was like being rebirthed or escaping from the maws of hell every damn time. So everything came out. I got cardboard to wind the fabric on to make small bolts that fits in the space. And I got a pile of notebooks so that I can inventory the fabric and know what I have and how much of it. And then I set to work. It took me a few weeks to complete, and I'll show you the results here in a little bit. Our brains are a few pounds of wiggly panicote that makes electrical connections, sends and receives electrical and chemical signals of the physical worlds, and helps us to construct our own unique reality. Sometimes that jello works great, sometimes less so. But everything our brains do is an interpretation of physical stimuli. There is no one reality, just our interpretation of it. I'm not talking about physics and natural phenomena not having an objective realness. It's just how our wiggly bits present it to us. We look at chaos and disorganization as bad, as less than ideal. We obsess with being organized. We have Marie Kondo'd the bejesus out of our closets, our garages, our kitchens. It feels good. I love a tidy house, a clean workspace. People are more stressed these days, and tidying up gives you some control over your environment. You feel good and accomplished. Color coding your thread or outlining your tools on the pegboard can help you find things. It's also a way of showing dominance over your sewing notions. Being in a tidy, ordered space or a chaotic mess can also influence how you think and the choices you make. There was a recent study done that showed that orderly environments lead people to think conventionally and lead towards tradition, while disorderly environments encouraged breaking with traditions. Study participants were more creative in a messy space. But organizing can also become pathological when it starts to interfere with your ability to focus, to function, and could itself become a source of stress. I'm not here to belittle mental health issues because that would be me throwing my expensive scissors in glass houses, nor am I a psychologist or a mental health expert, so I'll stick to what I know and what works for me. Not that you need my permission, but I'm here to tell you that what works for you is what works for you. My creative space and studio are best described as loosely organized chaos. If it gets too cluttered, I have a hard time working on projects, but having everything spotless all the time is so not me. A couple of years ago, my studio was a scene out of a post-apocalyptic, dyspeptic nightmare of a fabric and useful things hoarder. I literally couldn't work on projects because there was too much stuff. But this was at the height of the KonMari movement, and boy did I KonMari the shit out of my studio. I gave away, and I'm not lying here, about 30 Rubbermaid bins of fabric and other stuff. Finally, I could breathe and move and create again. Also, I found all of those small embroidery scissors that I knew I had but just couldn't find. Apparently, I have about a half a dozen of them. I'm envious of all those perfectly color-coordinated and matchy-matchy furniture in studios that I see in Pinterest and on YouTube. Not enough to actually do that, because how can I possibly pick a single color scheme? I mean, have you seen a rainbow? I could really never have a trendy styled home. It just seems like a lot of work, and that's not what's important to me. I tend to acquire and accrete material things as my heart feels. I'm attracted to shiny, arcane, vintage, used and loved, and tactile objects. I guess my decor style is best described as hurricane hits crow's nest, and that's what works for me. You do you. So are you ready for the big reveal? Here's my newly organized closet. I can actually walk in this. I am so excited. Up here on the top, I'm going to run you through what the fabrics that I have. We have some silks, some raw silks, beautiful block printed silk that was a gift of a few years ago. Some lovely raw silks that'll probably end up being suits or jackets. Then we have some cottons. Summer's coming up, so I'm looking forward to making some fun dresses. I got some denim for overalls. That's going to be a really pretty tea dress. And then some gauzes and just really lightweight cottons for just general summer wear. Here's some knits that are going to be fun. And then we have some wools. This blue herringbone is going to be a lovely winter coat lined with linen. Then I have my coat weight wools. And let me tell you, I am so looking forward to doing some tailoring with some of this fabric this fall. And then we have our linens. Can't forget the linens and all the colors, all the colors. And then here's a tub of Christmas and holiday fabrics that I will be playing with later this year. I'm looking forward to that. Over here we have rolls and rolls of fabric. A number of years ago, went down and bought a bunch of tent fabric. I'll be making some tents. Here are some brocades. Can never have enough of fancy brocades. And then the rest of the closet is made up of these rolls of fabric that are 2 yards or less. I had a surprising number of pieces of fabric that were 2 yards or less. But I'm really excited about moving forward and working on some projects now that I can actually get in and see what I have. So yeah, there you go. Order or chaos, it's up to you. You can be chaotic in one day and orderly the next, or live your life how you want to. That's That's up to you. There's no wrong choice. The only wrong choice is to beat yourself up over having a messy sewing or craft room, or obsessing over keeping things so tidily because you think that's what's required. You know, we have Pinterest-itis. We see all these beautiful spaces in Pinterest, and we think that our creative space is like that. So you just have to remember that what you see on the internet, you know, that's a veneer. That is the 1% of the time that places are actually clean and tidy. Are you organized or are you chaotic? Do you cycle back and forth like I do? Let us know in the comments. I really would love to have a conversation about this. I hope you found sharing your time with me valuable. And you find a way to release that negative energy that's all wrapped up in your feelings about being tidy or messy. Release that guilt, and may you find creative new ways to be your best self. I hope you can join us on our journey of sewing, creativity, and courage. Until next time, I bid you a fond farewell.